Welcome to Allspark.com's review of Transformers Battleground. It releases October 23rd, 2020. And like most things this year, it has a lot of bad, blah, and a few awesome points to keep you going. Let's take a look. In order not to spoil the campaign mode, we're going to look at the gameplay from the arcade mode, Capture the Flag. The mechanics should give you a hint at how the actual gameplay is for the campaign without actually spoiling it for you. You start off in the campaign as a human being rescued by Bumblebee from a random seeker, where Teletran X from a cartoon series actually picks you up and brings you high above the battlefield to keep you safe. From that point, you actually start giving commands to Bumblebee to help him out, because after 4 million years of fighting each other, the Autobots and Decepticons aren't too good at strategy anymore, and they need your help. There are 6 bots that will be swapping in and out throughout the story. Those are Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Wheeljack, RC, Grimlock, and Windblade. You will fight your way from Earth all the way back to Cybertron in order to stop Megatron from reprogramming the Allspark. Despite the different looking terrain, there isn't much to differentiate the gameplay that much once you reach Cybertron. The entire game, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. You move up behind cover, blast your opponents with a random attack that does X amount of damage depending on the situation, and you either blow up something on the battlefield that either provides you cover or it blows up and explodes and destroys your enemies. This might just be me being an inexperienced tactics game player, but it just got super repetitive with very little to keep the game interesting, which is sad because the arcade mode actually has interesting gameplay mechanics that they should have incorporated into the single player campaign. There are some unlockable attacks you can get in Wheeljack's lab, however I can't recommend them for you. They overwrite the existing standard attacks, and other than different attack animations, they're not really stronger than the initial attacks you already have. I thought I'd be leveling up my character, but in some cases it actually made them very much weaker, which I was highly disappointed in. Although I will admit, I did like seeing Optimus being able to jump up and like shoot around like a 9 grid area. I thought that was pretty awesome. Now, let's move on to one of the game's highlights, and that's the voice cast. This game, while having mostly the same voice actors from the cartoon series, is not actually set in the universe, mind you, because they even make a joke about what happens in the cartoon series. It's like, imagine if we just took a ship to Cybertron, or imagine we didn't lose the Allspark. You know, it's actually a pretty good little joke in there to let you know that this is not taking place between season 2 and season 3, like most people thought when we saw the initial trailers. The voice cast does a superb job in this game, and they really have too much work with it because it's a very overused plot of Megatron hunting down the Allspark and reprogram Cybertron to lead the Cybertronians to a new glorious tyranny way. I was actually impressed with the dialogue in this game, and they didn't reuse too many of the Transformers lines from like Transformers the movies, like "one shall stand and one shall fall." They did it one time at the end. I thought, okay, if you want to use it at the end, at the very last mission of the campaign, sure, that's fine. Graphically, the game reminds me of a souped-up mobile game, like something you find on iOS or Android, or maybe a mid-2000s PC game. I mean, the graphics, they're fine. It definitely doesn't score any points, but it's fine. I mean, you've seen the trailers, you know what to expect. It's just more of that. One interesting side note, the in-engine cinematics after each mission definitely give me a Warcraft 3 kind of feeling. The way they look, the way the camera angle moves, the way they kind of talk with that little text on the bottom of the art avatars, it's kind of neat. By far, I feel the arcade gameplay modes are much more enjoyable than the actual campaign's missions, and I'm left wondering why they didn't include some of the mechanics that were in the arcade play modes into the campaign missions to break up the monotony of the gameplay somewhat. Because as you're going through hours and hours of the same old thing in the campaign missions, yeah, you're left wondering why couldn't they put some of the arcade gameplay in there to break it up and make it more enjoyable. Overall, the game is definitely made for kids, with its simple turn-based and repetitive gameplay. If you're looking for a gift this year for a child around 8 to 10 years old, you could do much worse than to pick this up for them. I give this game a solid 6 out of 10 for Transformers fans, but a lesser rating of 4 out of 10 for non-Transformer fans. If you'd like to see our playthrough of this game, including hours and hours of campaign missions, please let us know in our comments on the YouTube channel, our Facebook page, our Discord server, or our forums.